Hi everyone, it's Athena here from Courage Coaching. The focus of today's video is going to be on narcissistic personality disorder, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how this disorder develops. Where are the origins of this disorder? Is it from childhood? Is it something that somebody is born with? If this is something that interests you, then please stay tuned. Narcissistic personality disorder is something that originates from a person's childhood, so from birth till about around 3 years old. Those are the most important years in a child's development. That is where a child needs attunement and attachment. And if their parent is a narcissist and isn't able to give the child this attunement and this attachment, then this can have many adverse effects on the child's development. So the first thing that is worth mentioning is that in any parent-child relationship, the parent has to be able to love their child unconditionally. So to give their child unconditional positive regard, no matter what, whether the child makes a mistake or the child cries or the child has all these spontaneous mood swings and tantrums, the parent still has to make the child feel loved and comforted. So if the parent is not able to give their child unconditional positive regard, then this affects the attachment, the bonding that the child has with the parent. Another very important thing in a healthy relationship is that the parent is able to mirror their child. So, they're able to respond to their child's needs. A parent has to be able to listen to their child and to validate their feelings and to accept them, and to allow the child to cry and to express happiness and sadness and disappointment. They have to allow the child to have a range of emotions, and they have to accept their child as their own person without imposing too much of their wants and their needs onto the child. The thing that causes narcissism in a child basically are two extremes. The first one is that the parent isn't able to unconditionally love and accept their child. They aren't able to mirror the child. They aren't able to accept a child's needs and wants, and they aren't able to allow the child to express themselves. So that's one extreme. And then the other extreme is when the parent will end up excessively praising the child. So if the parent sees that the child is very good at one or two things, they will praise the child over and over again to the point where it isn't healthy. And this is where the grandiosity develops in a narcissist. So there are these two extremes. There's excessive admiration on one hand, which leads to grandiosity, and then there is ridicule and criticism, lack of unconditional positive regard. And these two extremes basically cause the split. This is what the narcissist has. So even though the narcissist will be grandiose, will think that they are entitled to certain things, at the same time they have this really extreme, deep-seated worthlessness. And a child that has narcissistic parents will develop into a narcissist themselves when the child learns that they have to pretend to be what their parents want them to be. So if a parent doesn't like the child's true self, if the parent doesn't like the fact that the child wants to express his emotions, or that the child is sensitive, if the parent doesn't like the fact that the child cries all the time and punishes the child, this will basically cause the child to retreat, to stop expressing their emotions, to stop crying, to stop being themselves. And what happens is that they sort of stifle their true self and they create a false self. And this is the false self that a child will then hold on to, and this will then create this personality disorder. A child of narcissistic parents is basically a product of their parents' consumption. They are not seen as a child who has needs and wants and who needs to be validated and comforted. They are there to feed the parent's ego. They are there to satisfy the parent's needs. They are there to cater to what the parent wants their child to do. And if the child doesn't do what the parent wants, then the parent usually punishes them. The parent usually ignores them. The parent usually expresses anger towards the child. And the child is only loved when the child does what the parents want. When you think about this, it kind of makes you feel a little bit more empathy towards narcissistic individuals because it sort of humanizes them more. They are, after all, victims of narcissistic abuse. They also have had trauma in their childhood. They've just had two extremes. One parent might do the praising, give them excessive admiration on something that they do really well, and the other parent might be the one that's envious and tells them that they're worthless and tells them that they're not good enough. So it really depends on the dynamics between the mother and the father. Not every child of a narcissist will turn into a narcissist. I have two narcissistic parents and I didn't turn into a narcissist. I don't even have a personality disorder. And the reason for this is that I sought out therapy at a young age. I always asked a lot of questions. I felt that something wasn't right from a young age. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I sought out therapy. And the more sort of therapy you're able to have, and the more you are able to become self-aware of your own shortcomings, your own dysfunctional behaviors, then the better chance you have in healing and developing yourself into somebody who is able to have healthy relationships, and you're able to set boundaries and look after yourself, and you are also able to distance yourself from people that are harmful. That is what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching once again. I wish you a really nice week. Have a great Monday and see you very soon. Take care. Bye.